Good afternoon, Packers fans. Welcome to your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Wednesday, but more importantly, it is Aaron Rodgers' decision day, and he has made it abundantly clear after his appearance on Pat McAfee's program that he wants to play and he wants to be a New York Jet. For those of you who are with me this afternoon, you know that the emotions are high for Packers fans and definitely ready to get a deal done and wish Aaron Rodgers nothing but the best. But the one hangup remains compensation between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. Lots of debate going on online regarding who has leverage. I do think Rodgers tipped the scale there in the Packers' favor with his appearance today, but only slightly. It's not some major coup or anything like that. But now we wait and we see who wins out. And there's no real pressure point here. Here's the problem for the Jets. The Packers have nothing to do but wait when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, who's not going to be hopping in this plane and flying to Green Bay and showing up for anything this offseason. He knows he wants to go and play in New York and be a Jet. So there's no real problem for the Packers. They have an option bonus due in a long time from now. Maybe the draft is when they will feel some pressure to make a deal. So they can sit and wait and say to the Jets, hey, man, this is what we want. Give it to us. Now, of course, they're going to probably start high with an expectation that the Jets will come in low. And hopefully the two sides will meet somewhere in the middle. But when does that happen? Could happen right now as we're speaking. It could happen weeks from now. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen at any point now that the new league year is upon us. That's right. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Free agency has officially begun as of an hour ago. Of course, a lot of the marquee deals have been signed already. But here we go. The new league year is here, and Aaron Rodgers is still officially a Green Bay Packer, though he has said he wants to go and be a Jet. Going to be fascinating to watch play out. Not quite as fascinating as reading all of your comments here on Packers Daily. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see everybody. Brandy's here, of course. Bumpa, what a great name. TKM is here at his post. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Colin, thank you for the super chat. Christian Watson will lead the league in touchdowns this season, and Love will lead in deep ball passes. We will refer to him as Air Jordan by week 8. Well, as long as you don't have like unreasonable expectations there, Colin, I'm happy for you. Whew, baby. I mean, I'm all for it. Carry the G. Let's go. Let's do it. 0 to 100%, what percentage would you give the Packers to make it to the playoffs this season with Love? I personally think we will surprise people this year. It's a good question, Jason. 0 to 100%. Give me 73%. How's that? I think there's a good chance they make the playoffs, but man, we saw things go off the rails last year. Nothing to stop that this year. And you got a lot less experience at the quarterback spot, which is, of course, the most important position in sports. So it's not a given. There's no surety here. And look, defense has a lot to prove. Certainly played well and better down the stretch last season, but still a lot to prove. So, yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that the playoffs are a foregone conclusion or anything. Travis, thanks to the super chat. Is there any way they restructure Rodgers' contract before trading him? And if the Jets give him a new contract, does that lessen the cap hit at all? No. I mean, is there a insanely outside chance that the Packers could restructure something with Rodgers? A 0.1% chance, I would say. And as for the Jets and the new contract, if and when that happens, and I have zero doubt that is one of the things the Jets will do, they will rework a deal with Rodgers when he's traded. They'll agree to it probably before the trade is actually finalized. But no, there is nothing the Packers can do to lessen the cap hit they're about to take when they trade Aaron Rodgers. It will be significant. It will greatly reduce their ability to maneuver in free agency. That is a fact of life that Packers fans are just going to have to get used to this offseason because that is coming. Chris, thanks to the super chat. I'm just glad we live in the era of 12 speaking in real time about darkness and not 4 speaking in real time about cold filter Miller genuine draft. Hey, man, nothing wrong with a cold filtered Miller genuine draft. Good stuff. Yeah, I hear you. And that's kind of what I was talking about this afternoon on the stream. after the McAfee appearance, the idea that we are getting to hear from Aaron and his version of things. And I understand, like, the Packers are probably sitting there going, okay, that's not exactly how it happened, but this is Aaron's view and his reaction and how he feels about it. And look, as a Packers fan, if you had told me when I was like 12 years old that I'd be able to get unvarnished kind of conversation from the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, that's amazing. So yes, I'm with you. It is great to be able to hear from Aaron as things are occurring, as opposed to reading about it days later in the paper. Darren, that's a good question. How many primetime games for the Jets or the Packers you think coming this year? I mean, the Jets better be ready for a bunch of primetime games. Aaron Rodgers is must-see TV, and he is going to be on a whole lot. As for the Packers, my guess is 3. I know in past years they've kind of always maxed out at 5. I'm going to say 3 prime times, and unfortunately, my guess is because it's the way it always seems to happen with the NFL. They'll have 2 away and 1 at home. That is my guess right now. Jeezy Baby, thanks for the super chat. I cried in the shower last night. Felt like a day of my divorce. Remember the good times, but excited for the future. Need a drink. Jeezy Baby. Hot damn, man. That's some emotional stuff right there. I get you. I haven't cried, but I understand that. I guess as an older fan, I don't quite have the emotional attachment to 12 that I did with 4, but I get that, right? And undoubtedly, there's some young kids out there who are probably going to come up with Jordan Love as their guy, right? So I get it. I totally understand it. I remember that feeling. So don't think for a moment I'm discounting your emotion there because I totally get it. Justin, are we going to sign anyone or just let J Love fail his first year? All right, take a deep breath, relax. The new league year is literally an hour and 7 minutes old. Just slide back, breathe. It's going to be okay. I promise. Philip, thanks for the super chat. Can Rodgers retire and then unretire to go to New York City? No, because the Packers would own his rights. If he retire, he absolutely could retire. But the Packers would own his rights, and in the moment he unretired, he become property of the Green Bay Packers again, or a member, of the Green Bay Packers. So no, there's no trick to be played there. Curly, thanks for the super chat. Do we have cap room to pay an acquired 23 first? Oh yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons that it's going to be so kind of tight with free agency is paying draft picks, right? But yes, they will have the space, Curly. No question about it. Don Vito, thanks for the super chat. I hate the sensationalized headlines I've been seeing regarding Rodgers. I intend to play for the Jets. More importantly, it's Jordan Love season. Man, Don Vito, love you, buddy, but how is that sensationalized? That's literally what the man said. I mean, that's what he said verbatim. So I don't see how that's sensationalized. But you are right. It is Jordan Love season. John Simitovich, thanks for the super chat. Odds 12 wears 4 for the Jets just cuz. I know. I appreciated. I think it was Connor asking him if he was going to wear the 12 after Namath indicated that he gave his blessing, and I appreciated Aaron saying there'll be time for those conversations. My guess is he probably wears the 12. That is my guess sitting here today, but we'll see how that plays out. Joe, thank you for the super chat. Recall when Bears fans thought they would dominate the rivalry because Favre was gone and Bears had Jay Cutler? Thanks, Aaron, for 15 years of Bear domination. Those were great days. That was hilarious. I'll never forget when the Bears traded for Cutler and Greg Bedard, my old buddy, old friend in tears, said, the balance in the NFC North had shifted to Chicago. I gave him so much hell for that from the day he said it all throughout Cutler's tenure. Good times. Good times. Jeff Ness, thanks for the super chat. What do you think the Packers' bottom line is for compensation for Rodgers? I got to think they're sitting there talking about 13th overall, right? I don't know if that's bottom line. I don't know if it's like their break point, but I got to think that's what they're talking about. Otherwise, you really holding this up for like a second round pick or maybe a first round pick next year? I got to think they've circled 13. Now, whether they end up getting that, I don't know, but got to think that's what they're gunning for. Andrew, thank you for the super sticker. Greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. Curly, thanks again. Any word on Mark appearing at the WIAA boys tourney? No, nothing yet. I'm sure the folks in 1265 Lombardi are like, oh, Mark, you don't need to go to the boys tourney. You saw the girls tourney, right? That was a great time, right? You had a great time. Okay, we don't need to see the boys tourney. It's gonna be okay. Something like that. Oh, Darren, that's a great point. Cowboys versus Jets on Thanksgiving. Money. That check is in the mail, baby. I love it. Travis, thanks to the super chat. Get a veteran in at wide receiver, very young at the position. I got to think they'll be looking. There's no doubt about it, but I wouldn't expect a signing anytime soon. They'll be picking over the end, the second or third wave even of free agency. But yes, there's zero doubt they will want to get a veteran in that room. Now, who that is, I have no idea. Hell, might be Corey Davis after he gets cut by the Jets, which is probably going to happen. But they'll undoubtedly be looking to bring in a veteran. And hey, who knows? Maybe even they get a veteran wide receiver from the Jets in a trade with about Rodgers. It's possible. Irving, thanks to Super Chat. When does 12 send a pic of his thumb like 4? Oh, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Kyle, thanks to Super Chat. Hey, Nags, what are you going to be looking out for Love during training camp? So excited that the kid finally gets his shot. I've got a continuation of what we saw last year, most definitely. I mean, the big change you saw last summer was what Matt likes to call getting to the top of his drop and letting it rip, right? Making his kind of reads and decision making sped up. And I am kind of fascinated to see if he can shorten his release even just a little bit more, because that was very noticeable last year. I do wonder how much of that is Tom Clements in the mix. But if you go back and watch his rookie year or his second year in the preseason, man, he had such an elongated delivery that I think actually literally in his first preseason game, I think was probably the cause or, contributed to the injury he suffered, because he had such a long kind of wind up. And last summer, it was very apparent that had been truncated. That's been sped up a little bit, and that's a good thing. I do wonder if we see just maybe even a little bit more. Tom and the team working on that just a little bit, just to quicken the release a little bit more. Because, for everything you got going on, things happen so fast in the NFL, especially up front. You want to get that ball out of your hand. Now, we've been spoiled as Packers fans. We have had the quickest release in the game for the last 16 years in Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think it's ever going to be like that. But anything they can do to try and quicken that release is going to be a good thing. Ryan, thanks for Super Chat. I'm going to have an out-of-body experience the first time J-Lo pulls an Aaron Rodgers and catches a team with 12 on the field and a free play. I tell you what, here's what's crazy is his hard count is on point. And it's something he actually did really well in college. And it's so funny because every time he does it now in the pros, people are like, oh, he learned it from the master. Well, yeah, he's been watching Aaron, there's no doubt, but he was good at it at Utah State too. So I don't know if they'll have the same mechanics, like the whole kind of see the subs and get up to the line quick and snap the ball. Maybe they will. But yeah, his hard count's legit. That's to me, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Soder, thanks to Super Chat. New team leaders would seem to fall towards the defense. Clark, Gary, Jair, possible change in the focus of the 2023 team. I mean, here's hoping. I mean, the Packers have been trying it for 30 years, trying to put a defensive-led team on the field, and it just hasn't happened. But who knows? You could be right. Dell, thanks for the Super Chat. I'd love to get Mims and Conklin and picks for 12. I'd be very surprised if players are involved. And I know I just posited that a wide receiver could be involved because I'm not completely taking it off the table. But man, I'd be surprised. It's a rare thing in today's NFL, but it's not impossible. And people have started moving players a little bit more as of late. But yeah, I think I suspect it'll be just strictly draft picks. Chris, thanks to the Super Chat. I love the sentimental videos out there, but I'm waiting on the Yakety Sax Benny Hill version chase scene with Goody chasing 12 out of the building. Chris, hey, tell us how you feel, buddy. I feel it, though. I get you. I get where you're coming from. Ryan, thanks for the Super Chat. Do you think the CBS stations in Wisconsin will try to carry the 12 p.m. Jet games? 1 billion %. Yes. I know a ton of people will be trying to watch as many Jets games as they can for Aaron Rodgers and all the other guys too, whether it ends up being more than Alan Lazard, what have you. But yeah, I do not doubt for a moment that the CBS affiliate in Wisconsin will be showing Jets games as much as possible. J Cab, thanks to Super Chat. Just ordered a 10 Love jersey for the Packers Pro Shop website. Let's fucking go. There you go, baby. There you go. Hey, while you're at it, get a All You Need Is Love t-shirt from the Cheesehead TV shop. Now we're talking. Andrus, thanks to Super Chat. Love you, 12, but Bart Starr is the greatest player in franchise history. When I tell you the way my phone blew up when Aaron Rodgers said he was the greatest player to ever play for the Packers, look, he's right when he says he's in the conversation. There's no doubt about that. But I'll always take Bart Starr in that combo. No question about it. But hey, Aaron's confidence in himself and just the chutzpah to say that, that's what makes him great. That's what's made him great for 18 years in the NFL. You know, that's why he is who he is. It's why he's won 4 MVPs. He has full confidence in his greatness. You love it. But yeah, it's Bart Starr. No question about it. Johnny, thanks for the Super Chat. The nice thing is knowing that one day, regardless of how well he plays, we will discard him unceremoniously. I wish we treated players better. That's interesting. That's very interesting, Johnny. Better how? They're given great compensation. They are certainly afforded every opportunity that is presented to them as an NFL player, the same as any of the other 31 franchises. They're certainly given the same social media treatment when they're out the door, as 12 undoubtedly will be. I don't understand what people want. You want a parade? You want flowers? You want a friend? Get a dog. You know? Ain't show friends, it's show business. Chris, thanks for the Super Chat. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, but ready for a new, exciting Jordan Love season and something new. But part of me hopes the first play from scrimmage is Jordan Love to Christian Watson for a 75-yard TD bomb down the right side. That would be amazing. I'll take a draw play to Aaron Jones for 20 yards, though. But I hear you. That would be incredible. And you got to think there'll be some temptation there from Matt to dial that up. Official Sports. What a handle. Thanks to Super Chat. Same J Cab, got jersey, end streak, draft wide receiver round 1. That's going to be fascinating to see if the Packers draft a wide receiver. I don't think they will at 15, but you never know. It'd be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible. Don Vito, thanks again, buddy. I appreciate Rodgers giving love today. Yes, I talked about that this afternoon. Aaron has been absolutely fantastic when it comes to how he's treated Jordan, both publicly and behind the scenes. He has been excellent when it comes to his relationship with Jordan. Everything I've heard is how, what a good teammate he has been for Jordan, what a great mentor. And today, again, just kind of underline that fact that you love to see that. Seriously. Pac Fan, thanks for the Super Chat. I bet Ed Policy is the next CEO. Pac Fan, I bet you're right. He is the odds-on favorite. No question about it. Jordan, thanks for the Super Chat. Dalton Kincaid at 15. I know DJ had him there in one of his mocks. I'll just be very, very surprised if they take a tight end at 15. I know they went against their history, taking an off-ball linebacker last year at 22. I'll just be shocked. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love that player. I love Kincaid. Man, that is awfully rich for that position. But, hey, man, it's a new world, right? We're turning the page. Maybe the Packers pull that trigger. It's possible. Andrew, thanks for the Super Chat. Ron had Mike and Brett. Ted had Mike and Aaron. Excited to see Goody work with Matt and Jordan. I'm with you. Very much agreed. It's great to see these kind of, I guess, groups kind of rise together, right? And achieve together. It's always hard when you're trying to get back to something. I love the idea of working towards something. I'm so all in on that. Can't wait. Dylan, thanks for the Super Chat. Do you think Love has the X factor to lead us back to that frozen tundra Lambeau mystique? I don't think that's Jordan's job. Look, I think Jordan's ready to ball, and I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the league. But it's the Packers. That's Matt's responsibility way more than it's Jordan's responsibility. How they play, what their game plan is. I mean, Brian and Matt. Brian has to supply the players who don't fold in those late January Lambeau games, right? And I don't put that on Jordan in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I hope he's ready to ball out in the cold, no doubt about it. But yeah, that the Lambeau mystique, especially like late season stuff, that's on the Packers side. That's on Brian and Matt. Curly, thanks again, buddy. Ceiling, Jordan Love, Hall of Fame. Floor, or noon home games. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Aaron Jones, 2022 career yards high is in jeopardy. Man, that more noon games, like that's the silver lining, right? If it all does fall apart, more noon games. That's a consolation prize. I'll take it. Seti, thanks for the super chat. What are the odds Love is a Hall of Famer? Never tell me the odds. Time for the love train. Man, y'all need to stop talking about Jordan Love in the Hall of Fame. Can we just let him start for a season first? Just one season? I get a lot of this is tongue in cheek, but yeah, let's just dial it back. Andrew, thanks again. Favre becoming a royal POS notwithstanding, as a 34-year-old fan, this is weird for me. He was my childhood guy. This one hits differently, and I can't put it into words yet. Yeah, no question. And, it's funny going back and watching. I kind of dug up the post that Corey actually put up when Favre was traded. And someone in the comment section was like, had referenced something I had said on our podcast on Packer Transplants regarding it's time for a new generation of Packers fans to find their heroes. Right. And when we were young, when I was young, I loved Lynn Dickey, and then I loved Don Mikowski, and then Brett Favre was the one who brought us out of hell, essentially. And man, I idolized the hell out of that guy. So yeah, when they turned to Rodgers, I was always firmly a Favre guy. Rodgers, of course, went on to become an even better quarterback and clearly became a better player. And as much as I loved watching him play, as much as I celebrated the victories and the huge plays and the touchdowns and all of that, never had the emotional connection to Aaron that I did to Brett. And that's somewhat aging, right? That's generational. I think that's understandable. So Andrew, I don't think you're, I understand that sentiment. Like it's just a different relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. Brian, thanks for the super chat. This hurts, but a lot less than when Favre left. Nothing but class from 1265 and Aaron, in my opinion. Excited to see how we use Love's legs. QB sneaks in Green Bay. I mean, QB sneaks, definitely a possibility. But yes, to get him outside the pocket, to be able to utilize that as a weapon. Look at the Eagles and what they did with Jalen Hurts this year. And using him just as a threat when it came to using his legs. Kept teams off balance. And to have that again in your offense, it's going to be a lot of fun. No doubt about it. Joe, thanks again, bud. Who sells more jerseys in 2023, Love or Watson? Oof, I got to say Love. New starting quarterback, the Green Bay Packers. Give me love on that. Abdul, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Aaron, just joined, so I'm sorry if you answered this already, but can you summarize what 12 said? Heard he criticized management. That was a small portion of what he said. I'm not going to give you a full rundown here, but I will say I thought for the most part, I was kind of surprised. And I think I did talk about this afternoon. I was a little surprised at how reflective and complimentary he was of the organization. He definitely went through kind of his time and certainly since Jordan Love was drafted. And I think it was very notable that he mentioned a lot of people by name who were there when he was first drafted and first kind of coming up in the league. He certainly missed mentioning Mark Murphy or Brian Gutekunst by name, and I don't think that's an accident. But for the most part, yeah, I think he's, still on the tip where he was in 2020 when he was talking about it's about the people. And I think the Packers are very appreciative of everything he's done, but they're ready to move on, and they're going to move on in their way. For everything he talked about, I think I saw, for the most part, a guy grappling with the idea that Father Time is undefeated, and now it's his time. That's what I took away from that. Rodgers, thanks for the super chat. You think we can run the fucking ball now? That's an outstanding question. I don't think we're going to run the ball a whole lot more than we did last year, but maybe a little bit more. We'll see. Cody, thanks for the super chat. If we end up with 2 first-round picks, do you believe we add to the offense because we no longer have 12 to rely on? I don't think it's that simple. I think they will follow their board, and if there's a guy who's far and away a better prospect on their board, they'll take him, regardless of what side of the ball he's on. But you get to a point where maybe they have equal grades. Does Brian maybe want to try to boost the offense a little bit? Yeah, I think there's a good possibility. And not just because of Jordan, but also because they've been using the first round picks on defense for how long? At some point, you got to go on the offense, right? Overshadow, thanks to the super chat. Going to be weird seeing 69 win a Super Bowl ring with 10. See, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Overshadow, you always bring it home, man. Always bring it home. Jesse, thanks for the super chat. Sign Minshew for a vet presence? I doubt it. I'd much rather they use those free agency dollars, which will be precious few once they trade Aaron, for guys who are actually going to see the field this year. You know, if the backup quarterback's in, they're done anyway. So if they're going to have a backup, unless they have to, draft him and let that guy develop. Gardner Minshew going to be carrying a clipboard all year. I don't want to spend that money there. John, thanks for the super chat. Best part of the day, Bears fans getting hope. Oh, this is going to be brilliant. This summer will be much like the summer, a couple years ago after they won the division, and it was, links and titles and quotes on Twitter about how Mitch Trubisky was going to become the best quarterback in the NFC North. Or I'm sorry, already was the best quarterback in the NFC North. The Bears were ready to go on a run of the division championships, and that lasted a year. I can't wait. So, but that summer, Bears fans were so chirpy, and of course, there was fuel to the fire because of the swap between Clinton Dix and Adrian Amos. So that all, of course, came crashing down for the Bears. They have all the hope in the world right now. Aaron Rodgers, the big boogeyman, is gone. They have the number one. They had the number one pick. They traded that away for a boatload of picks. They got all this cap space. They spent it all on these off-ball linebackers and offensive linemen, and they're going to be so great. But they're still the Bears, and they still suck. And that's the best part. What else we got? Jesse, thanks for the super chat. Excited for the true LaFleur offense again. Also, Love is only 24. Will Levis is 23. I mean, remember, Jordan was hella young when they drafted him. It's like the Packers knew that he needed time to develop. It's incredible. Dakoba, thanks for the super chat. Happy we will now have all timeouts in the fourth. I don't know, man. That's a big assumption. Everyone seems to want to lay everything on Rodgers. And I understand he's got his stuff, right? There's no doubt about it. But Matt calls some of those timeouts. Matt is about spreading it out and throwing it around. Like, that isn't all on Aaron. Like, some of that is Matt, too. It's always a mix. It's always shared. People just think it's going to be this whole, it's going to be like the Wizard of Oz coming out of black and white into color. It's just slide back. Some of that is on Matt, too. And it will be up to Matt to make that difference. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Patreon members, carry the G Club members. I'll see you at happy hour at the top of the hour. Hey, I think we got something to talk about this week. Can't wait. In the meantime, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, on April 3rd, the Cheesehead TV 2023 Pro Football Draft Guide drops. It'll be available at our merch store. You can directly download it there. By Packers fans, for Packers fans. We've been doing it for 13 years. My goodness, has it been that long? It's incredible work by everybody involved. Definitely not me, because God knows I don't know anything about the draft. Make sure you pick it up on April 3rd, because it is an awesome piece of content and one of the things we're most proud of each and every year. In the meantime, please tell your friends, tell your families. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.